What's going on, you guys? This is your boy Meech. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. So in this video today, we're going to show you how to export your beat the best way for BeatStars and for sending it to artists, whether it's a big artist or it's an artist who's serious, and also to make sure you got all your stuff dialed in for BeatStars. So let's get into it. I've actually finished a beat here. The name of this beat is called Tonight. It's like a Harry Fraud type beat. I'll play it for you guys real quick so you can check it out. I'll start at the first 8 bars, the second 8 bars. Tough, right? Pretty cool. Like if it fits that Harry Fraud mode, right? So one thing I want to show you guys, so specific to Ableton, you have a few different ways of bouncing out the beat. I personally like this just to export it as normal, but if I'm in a hurry or if I just need a 2-track, you do have the resample option. I'll show you how to pull that one up. So if you just create a new track, either Command T if you're on Mac or Control T if you're on PC like myself, and then you go into the IL right here, exit in. If we're on the session view versus the arrangement side, then actually they don't even have it anymore. It's a little different. Wait, so you got to go to the arrangement side. So you click here in the input, in the IO, and then you go to resample. So what that's gonna do is I'll show you the level real quick. So just pay attention to this level on the side here. Hold on, let me do auto. So not the level right there, but there we go. Yeah, you see how there's a level. So basically this acts as a master track, basically resampling in what you have from the master into that track. So you can record it this way. This is an easy way just to, if you need to export the file really quickly, if you're in a session and maybe you want to do some live automation, like for instance, let's go here and let's say if I want to mess with, I don't know, the pan of the 808, let's say the frequency of the 808. I think that's a little bit better. So we can go here, and then you want to turn on your recording automation. Then you can dub over it. So let's say if I started it from the top, right? And then I'm not gonna start it from the top. But let's just say I did, and I recorded it, and I wanted to mess with the 808 live, so I can capture that like this, something like that. Now you don't have to do that, of course. That's if you're maybe in a session and you're just pressed for time. You need to do something really quickly. But in this case, like I said, that's that option that you have. Normally, most people are going to go for the regular export option. So if you're on PC or if you're on Mac, you go to File. I think in PC you go to Preferences, but then you go to where it says Export Audio, Control Shift R or Command Shift R. And then before I even get here, I like to highlight everything. So I like to just drag this top bar right here. Boom, go right here to the end of the track or wherever you want it. I have like a little effect at the end, so I'm just gonna capture this right here, about to right there. And then see how it sounds. Yeah, maybe end it like right there. It's cool. Boom. So I'll capture that, and then I'll go into export audio video. So now what I do, I'll make one for just like if I'm recording a video, I'll have my tag at the bottom, but you want to also update your tag. So if you're doing BeatStars or if you're uploading this beat onto YouTube, you may want your tag to go every 4 bars, 8 bars, or 16 bars. I like to do every 8 bars. I think that's just a bit more tasteful, so that way they're not hearing it so much, but also just making sure that you have your shit together and that you're protecting yourself in the event that they can't just rap over it or loop over it easily, right? So I'll add it in there. You could just drag your tag into an empty audio track, and then once you line it up on a grid, just duplicate it. Boom, 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 boom. Easy, right? So I'll make a few different versions. I'll make a version with the tag. So we'll go with it. I'll just turn this on. And I also like to find a key. So if you're like me, you probably have auto key, or you can just go to a website called tunebat.com. It's the website link here, tunebat.com/analyzer. So you'll go in and you can just use that. I'll put the text below or whatever. I'll also copy the link to it. But You upload your files and it'll tell you what the key is. But I like to get the key of the song. I get the BPM. So this happens to be F sharp minor. If you upload into that site, it'll show same thing. Or the reverse, it'll give you A major if you play the major scale. But this one happens to be F sharp minor. So I'll go in and I have a tag version. So go tag, export audio video. Now for your sample rate, just depends on what kind of interface you're using, what kind of project file you'll be working in. Mine are always going to be 44,100, but I used to do 48,000. Just depends on, like I said, what you're using. So that's my preferred sample rate. You can pretty much leave, like I said, a bit depth also has to deal with that as well. I typically just leave it alone, keep it as a wave file. For your own Mac, you just need to switch this from AIFF to wave. If you're on Windows, it should automatically be at wave, but if not, switch it back. And then you want to do MP3. So you'll make an MP3, a wave version of your tag beat, and then an MP3 version of your tag beat. And then you go to export and make sure this render track is on whatever your master is. So I have mine labeled as main, but yours just might say master. It might say whatever you labeled it as, but just make sure the render track is just that one master track. And then you go to export. Now for the naming convention, hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. I've already uploaded this beat, so this is more of an example. So I'll make a few different types, but I usually will have the name of the song, and then I'll do an underscore, and then I do BPM. So I'll do BPM 144. That way I don't have to guess at this, right? And then I'll do the key of the song, F sharp minor, and then I'll do another underscore and I'll put tagged. Boom. So you do that, and then you export it, you hit save, and then it'll start exporting, and it should be done. Now you also want to make an untagged version. So you'll mute your tag version, do the same thing again, and for this one you can upload it, you can name it the same way. I usually do an MP3 for that as well, along with the wave file. And I just, instead of just having that underscore tag, I'll just leave it alone, right? Now the main thing is, if you want to also upload your individual stems, which you do, you want to have everything ready. For Ableton, it makes it easier when you have underscores for your naming convention. I'll show you why. So if you're looking to select all your tracks, do the same thing. Line out this loop bar bridge right here to highlight all the tracks. And then instead of render track, master, or main, you'll go to all individual tracks. And then you don't need to do MP3s for this one. You can keep all the stems as wave files. That way you don't have so many extra files. But then you go on to export. And then you want to create, and like I said, I already kind of have it, but you want to create a track list folder. And so you'll go type in the name of the beat, and I do track outs. So it's already saving, but just to show you guys kind of what I did. So what you want to do, the same format. Now this is untagged, mind you, but you want to do the name of your beat, right? BPM, BPM, the key once again, and then you want to just leave an open underscore, because what that does is, instead of it just being a bunch of words all together and people struggling to read it, they can read, hey, okay, this is the name of the track and the 808. This is the reverb. This is the delay. This is the phaser track. This is the drums. This is the group drums. This is the individual drums. This is the resample. This is the sample chop. So your tag, if you have that open, which I wouldn't, like I said, I would have that muted, but because they don't need your tag anyway, unless you just directly want to send it to them. And then this is the actual beat itself, right? So that's how it's going to look after you export it. So you go in, you leave it as this, name of the beat, BPM, name of the beat underscore BPM underscore key underscore, leave that blank, and you hit save. It'll upload to that folder, and then you're still not done. You got one more step. So you'll go into the track out folder, and then you'll do right click. And if you're on Mac, I'm not sure what it is, but it should just say compress folder. But for this one, you want to go to compress to, and then zip file. Or if you're old school like me, you can just go to send to and then compress zip folder. So that'll zip up the file. That way it's not so large, and then you can upload it to BeatStars. So when you're in BeatStars, what you want to do is go into your BeatStars studio. Once you're there, you go under content to the left hand side, and then you'll go to tracks. And on the right hand side, you'll see where it says create track. You just click that here, and this is where you're going to upload everything. So I like to do it kind of one at a time. That way everything just looks as it is. So you go into whatever I like to grab the untagged wave. I'll grab that file first. And then from there, it'll take you to another screen where it lets you upload the tag MP3 track or wave track, whichever you want to upload for the listening public. And then where it says stem files, if you do have this option, if you're a paid member of BeatStars, then you can go ahead and click this. This is where you'll upload your compressed trackouts. And so whenever somebody downloads your exclusive or whatever license you have set to that, they'll be able to download all the track files and have their mixing engineer or engineer just mix the full stems of the beat instead of just the 2-track. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Once you get into it, it'll upload here. You can upload any artwork that you have. I like to just make mine easier, so I'll have like a copy of the file that I worked on. I'll use that as a track. I mean, as the image artwork. And then I'll just go and upload that here, put in the key. Now, because you've already done the key, you've done the due diligence, you can remember your BPM, you put in your key and then start making tags around what the beat is. And then pretty much should look like, let me show you guys, it should look like this. After all is done, it'll look like this. And then you can go ahead and hit publish track and it'll save to your BeatStars account. It'll give you an option to share it from the pro page or from the marketplace. I would recommend sharing it from the pro page. That way it just takes, if anybody goes to the pro page, you'll go to your site where you have all your beats. So yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you guys got to see like the process. And you know, like I said, it's really easy, but you want to have that same kind of organization. That's the best practices. I would recommend doing it that way. Like I said, it'll make your life easier, guys, on the back end. When you really start getting those sales, when you really start working with artists, you'll be able to have your stuff organized and dialed in. You won't be like me waiting until you're a little older to get it in touch. So appreciate you guys watching the video. If you could leave a like, comment, share, subscribe if you found any value, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.